Hi, it's so nice to see you. I have noticed on YouTube sometimes misunderstandings arise. When it involves only me and one other individual, I try to clear it up personally. But sometimes it involves a wider public, and this thing happened to me just lately on a video, The People and Planet, speech only, where David Attenborough gives a lecture sounding alarm for what dangers may come in the future connected with overpopulation, and also how some animal species will go extinct because of that. And his arguments were very good, and I immediately thought, I agree, and I left a comment where I wrote, what's wrong with people having only 1 or 2 children voluntarily? Especially women would be happy about that. And then I added, I hope that in society people will start to look askance at extraneous fecundity. Now this phrase, look askance, I'm sorry that I used it now, but there are 2 reasons that I used it, because I'm not a native English speaker. I was proud that I know a phrase like that, and usually I will get a compliment for my English for that. And the second reason was that I made a quick analogy in my head with smoking. The attitude towards smoking has changed lately in Western society mostly. Now I do think that this is not a very good analogy. When I thought about this from a personal angle, for example, as regards people that I know or individual people, I changed my mind. And then I thought there are many topics about which one can't have a fixed opinion. You can look at them from different angles, and from one angle you see certain arguments, and then you may form one kind of opinion. But then if you look at the same thing from a different angle or different angles, you may form a different opinion. And very often both opinions are right. For example, I remember what happened some years ago. I was translating to 5 Canadian young people in some sport, and one day they asked me, we were having a conversation, and they asked me, how do I stand as regards the death penalty? I hadn't thought much about it, so I answered, well, if it's a vicious killer and he has done a terrible crime, he deserves to die. So I am for death penalty. And then one of them, a young man, quietly said to me, what if he's innocent? And when I thought about it, I changed my opinion, and now I am against the death penalty, although I still approve of the death penalty for noted Nazis. So as regards morality, it's not always clear-cut. It's not, as Mr. William Lane Craig says,
absolute standard of right and wrong.
Anyway, a little bit about him now. I have been planning to make a video as regards Japan and what happened lately. Several years ago, I translated for several Japanese businessmen. It was very interesting. If we are sitting for dinner, for example, and when they talk to each other, always before they said something, they lifted themselves from the chair a little bit, bowed their heads in quite a special, certain manner, and only after that they spoke. It was very interesting and very nice. Quite official as well. But they did it with such ease, you could see that they're used to that and they constantly do that, probably in their families as well. So when I heard about Japan, I remembered about them, and my heart goes to all the people there who are undergoing such a terrible situation. What does Craig have to say about that? He starts in a normal manner, it's terrible what happened in Japan, but immediately after that he connects it with theology, God, and his goodness. Then he talks about the earthquake in Japan, and he calls it natural evil. But natural evil for me is an oxymoron, because yes, it's natural, so it's not evil, because evil is only a person. A human being can be evil. Can you call a very strong wind, a gale, evil, for example, that may ruin the roof of your house or overturn your car? It's not evil, it's the wind, it's air. Same thing with earthquake. Yes, it's very bad, it is terrible, but it's not evil. You can't blame it. There's nobody to blame.
And when an event like this takes place, it raises inevitably the philosophical question of natural evil in the world. Namely, how is natural evil, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, tornadoes, and disasters consistent with the existence of an all-loving and all-powerful God?
So first he calls the earthquake and the tsunami natural. So God doesn't have anything to do with that. They are very bad things, but we shouldn't think bad about God. Later, he starts explaining in a very naturalistic manner that the earthquakes happen because of plate tectonics. And so again, God hasn't done anything bad.
These sort of earthquakes are not just random events. These aren't just sort of capricious acts of God that occur on Earth.
And then he starts saying that plate tectonics can cause earthquakes, which is very bad, but this same phenomena, this same thing, the Earth plates, are necessary for human existence, even, which is true.
This very process, which seems to so threaten human life by earthquakes and tsunamis, turns out to be absolutely essential to human life.
He states that the earthquake is what God has done, only because God has done it. It's not really bad, because
only in a world that is characterized, indeed suffused with natural evil or suffering, that the maximum number of people would freely come to know God.
Freely? I wonder what would people, even Christians, in Japan now who have lost mother, father, children to the earthquake, what would they think if they hear Craig talk like that? What would you think? I wonder what the
absolute standard of right and wrong
would say about Craig's opinion in this case.